Dear Lauren, in the year 2020, you made a video for your student newspaper, The Queen's Journal, interviewing your great Uncle Grant about his perspective concerning life under the Wolfe Island windmills in Kingston, Ontario. Uncle Grant was 80 years old at the time, and now that I'm 80 years old, I think it's only fitting that I watch back this time capsule and reflect how our perspective has evolved since then.
My name is Grant Pike. I live on the south side of Wolfe Island, lived here all my life. I guess I had mixed emotions at first. I was very unsure as to how I was going to be able to adapt to such a beautiful spot that's quiet, and I didn't know if it was going to upset me to the point that I was going to be disturbed. And then one day I asked my son about them, and the way he explained it was there would be a better chance of my grandson continuing on with the farming if there was a little bit of extra income, if they're not going to cause any problems.
Here, Uncle Grant explains his initial nervousness before welcoming the wind turbines to his home. But his son, your Uncle Jason, took the time to thoughtfully explain how this would benefit the next generations, you and your cousins. This has been the key to effectively combating climate change, all generations working together to effectively communicate and make decisions with empathy.
At this point in time, I would have to say that probably it's turned out fine for the community and the average person that has them.
And it did continue to turn out more than fine for the average person. And because of this positive economic impact, I'm happy to report that as the decades went on, many other rural farming communities followed Wolfe Island's lead and gained economic prosperity.
It was quite a massive project. When you consider starting this project in the fall and finished in the spring, we had 87 of them constructed. The boys, when they would come in with the cranes to set this up, the 90-ton piece has to sit on top of a 264-foot high structure. That 90-ton piece sits on that. Then when they go to lift the hub up, they lay the hub on the ground and hook the three 13-ton blades, which are 149 feet long each. I happened to be here when they did this one, and it took them about 20 to 25 minutes from the time it left the ground until I heard it snap into position so they could start bolting it onto the heavy shaft. The blades will turn 17 revolutions a minute, and the alternator coming out the back end of the gearbox, the speed will be 2,200 revolutions a minute. That's at maximum. Then, of course, you don't have maximum wind all the time. It's still going to generate electricity, but at a lower rate in a lower wind.
As time went on, our engineers became better experts at building renewable energy sources in efficient, even more time-sensitive ways. If you thought 87 windmills was a massive project, just wait until you see the massive renewable energy projects to come. Canada's laborers, from engineers to farmers to builders alike, will be busy at work building thousands of more renewable energy projects.
I'm around them all the time, and I never see a dead bird around them. The owls, I'm glad I've never ever seen an owl. I'm just trying to think what the heck I have seen, to tell you the truth. We've got thousands of geese here, and I don't know, for some reason they're missing them. We could do with a few less geese, but anyway, they seem to be avoiding them.
Here, Uncle Grant is addressing the criticisms that come from people who are not familiar with the windmills. I definitely still remember way back in the Trump presidency how those rumors were maliciously spread around by men who had their investments in non-renewable energy sources. As time goes on, false rumors attacking the renewable climate industry will continue to spread and spike, but they do fizzle out soon enough thanks to accessible, informed journalism and undeniably positive economic growth.
No, I think as far as the environment is concerned, I would hope that we're generating enough electricity from that we are helping the environment.
Yes, Uncle Grant, we were producing enough electricity from them to help the environment. While Wolfe Island's individual impact was relatively small on its own at first, other communities following its lead collectively have shifted Canada's reliance off of fossil fuels. Believe it or not, 97% of our country's energy is now sourced renewably. This has been key to slowing the climate crisis for generations to come.
Right or wrong, they seem to be something we've adapted to. They leave a wicked footprint. It's a very great beneficial aspect of the economy of Wolfe Island. The land is usually leased in 20-year increments. So at the end of 20 years, I don't have any myself. My son does on the farm, but there'll be a negotiation of some sort to figure out what will happen if they're still ready to go for another further 20 years.
20 years later, Uncle Jason did sign to renew the windmills. And 20 years after that, Cousin Jack signed to renew the windmills for one more bout.
Thank you very much, Lauren. It's been great being with you to try to give you a little rundown of what's happened here. Talk to you later.
If I can leave you with one lesson, Lauren, it's to have hope. I know that you are scared about the climate crisis. I know that it feels impossible to have a safe and healthy future. But please, have hope. Let that hope energize you to learn more, to listen more to Indigenous climate change leaders, and give platform to help tell more stories like this one. It's real, everyday people in small communities across the world who are helping to make a positive change. Uncle Grant is an example of someone who listened to his community, who trusted experts, and made the empathetic decision to give his blessings as your elder to take action for a better future. This video that we made was a very positive and light one. I encourage you to keep learning about video journalism and begin to take on less happy stories. Work with your friends who do not have clean water on their reserves, research the politicians in power, and interview those who are intelligently questioning their climate action strategies. Keep moving forward. One day, you'll be someone's elder, just like Uncle Grant. And just like him, you will have quite the perspective to share. With love, Lauren in the year 2080.